Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because you do not want to miss what's coming. Today we're diving into something that has the entire ARMY community absolutely buzzing. We're talking about Jimin and Jungkook and what's really happening behind the scenes as BTS prepares for their massive 2026 comeback. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to understand why insiders are saying this is completely different from anything we've seen before. Let's get into it. Okay, so first, let's set the stage here. BTS announced their comeback with the Arirang album dropping March 20th, and obviously, ARMY has been losing their minds. But here's what most people don't know. What's happening in HYBE studios right now isn't your typical comeback preparation. Multiple sources, and I'm talking producers, choreographers, staff members, they're all saying the same thing. Jimin and Jungkook have developed this creative partnership that is honestly unlike anything anyone's ever seen from them before. Now, before you come at me in the comments saying, but they've always been close. I know. We all know about their friendship, their bond, all of that. But what I'm about to share with you goes way beyond friendship. We're talking about a complete evolution in how they create music together, how they work together, and honestly, how they're elevating each other's artistry to levels that even longtime fans didn't think were possible. And look, I've been covering BTS for years now, and I've seen them grow, I've seen their dynamics shift, but what's happening right now with Jimin and Jungkook? It hits different. So let me break down exactly what's going on and why industry professionals are calling this a game changer. Let's talk about context for a second, because this is super important. When the members went on their individual journeys, doing solo work, military service, all of that, they each grew tremendously as individual artists. Jimin dropped solo music that was critically acclaimed, showing this emotional depth and artistic maturity that honestly made some people cry. Like, his vocal performances during that era? Absolutely insane. And then you have Jungkook, who literally became a global superstar in his own right. We're talking breaking streaming records, dominating charts worldwide, collaborating with major Western artists. He proved that he could carry entire projects on his own shoulders and succeed at the highest level. His song 7 with Latto, that became one of the biggest hits of 2023, and people are still talking about it. Now here's the thing that's really interesting. When artists achieve that level of solo success, there's usually this tension when they come back to the group. I've seen it happen with other groups, other bands. Egos start to clash, creative visions diverge. People want to do things their way because, hey, it worked for them as a solo artist, right? There's this natural friction that happens. But with Jimin and Jungkook, the complete opposite is happening. And this is blowing people's minds. Instead of their solo success creating distance or competition, it's actually made them better collaborators. It's like they went away, learned different languages, mastered different instruments, and now they're coming back together and creating this entirely new musical conversation that neither could have had before. A vocal coach who's been working with BTS for years said something in an interview that really stuck with me. She said that before, Jimin and Jungkook were talented singers who could harmonize well together. Now, they're artists who understand each other's musical language on a completely different level. They're not just blending voices anymore, they're blending artistic perspectives. And apparently, when you witness it in person, it's kind of mind-blowing. Okay, so let me tell you about what's actually happening in these studios, because the details are absolutely wild. First of all, Jimin and Jungkook are reportedly spending 14 to 16 hours together every single day. We're not talking about just recording vocals or learning choreography. They're involved in every aspect of the creative process. Vocal arrangements, choreography concepts, even weighing in on visual direction for the album. And get this, Jungkook did this Weverse live at like 2 in the morning, right? He's literally broadcasting from the studio in the middle of the night, and he makes this comment that sent the entire fandom into a meltdown. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, but he compared working with Jimin now to how they used to finish each other's sentences as trainees. Except now, they're finishing each other's musical phrases. They understand the intention behind a vocal run or a dance move without even needing to explain it. Do you understand how rare that is? Like, I've talked to people in the music industry, and they say that kind of creative telepathy usually takes decades to develop, if it ever develops at all. And here are Jimin and Jungkook, who, yes, have known each other for over a decade, but they've reached this new level where they're operating almost like one creative mind split between two bodies. There's this story that leaked from the studio, and honestly, it gives me chills every time I think about it. There was a track that was originally supposed to be a Jimin solo song. Beautiful ballad, showcasing his range, super emotional, the whole thing. Jungkook hears it and comes to Jimin with this idea for transforming it into a duet that would tell a more complex story. What happened next? They basically locked themselves in the studio for 48 hours straight, barely sleeping, ordering food in, just completely immersed in reworking the song. They rewrote parts, rearranged the entire thing, experimented with different vocal approaches. And when they finally emerged, the production team said it was one of the most powerful tracks on the entire album. Like, people who heard it apparently got emotional. Think about what that represents. That level of trust, that level of creative partnership, where you can take something that's yours, something personal, and hand it to someone else and say, help me make this better, and then actually work together to transform it into something neither of you could have created alone. That's not just chemistry, that's artistic synergy at the highest level. Now let's talk about what's happening in the dance studio, because this is where things get really interesting. We've all seen JiminDance, right? The man is literally poetry in motion. His contemporary dance background gives him this fluidity, this emotional expression that's just captivating to watch. And Jungkook has evolved into this absolute powerhouse performer with incredible versatility. In the past, their different styles sometimes meant they had to compromise. Jimin would dial back some of his fluidity. Jungkook would adjust his power, they'd meet somewhere in the middle. But according to leaked rehearsal footage, and people who've been in those sessions, that's not what's happening anymore. They're not compromising, they're synthesizing. Jungkook has incorporated more of that fluid emotional expression that defines Jimin's style. Meanwhile, Jimin has amped up the power and precision in his movements. The result is choreography where you literally cannot tell where one person's influence ends and the other begins. It's completely seamless. A backup dancer who's worked with multiple K-pop groups said something that really struck me. She said the energy in BTS rehearsals, especially when Jimin and Jungkook are leading, is unlike anything else in the industry. There's still incredible discipline, the standards are insanely high, but it comes from this place of collective aspiration rather than fear or competition. People want to be better because they're inspired, not because they're afraid of being criticized. And apparently, Jimin and Jungkook have created this atmosphere where everyone feels safe to take creative risks. If someone suggests something and it doesn't work, it's not a failure, it's just part of the process. That kind of environment is so rare, especially in an industry known for intense pressure and toxic competitive dynamics. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough: the emotional intelligence that both of them have developed. Look, anyone who's worked on creative projects knows that the technical skills are only half the battle. The real challenge is navigating egos, managing stress under pressure, handling creative disagreements without destroying relationships, maintaining motivation through the rough patches. Multiple staff members have commented on how Jimin and Jungkook have this almost telepathic ability to sense when the other is struggling. There's this footage that circulated where Jimin notices Jungkook getting frustrated during a really difficult vocal session. Without saying anything, he just calls for a break, sits down with Jungkook, and they talk through what's not working. Not in a critical way, but in a collaborative problem-solving way. And Jungkook does the same thing. During intense dance rehearsals when Jimin is pushing himself maybe a little too hard, Jungkook knows exactly when to step in with encouragement or specific feedback that helps rather than just criticizes. It's this really beautiful balance of pushing each other to be better while also supporting each other through the difficult moments. This kind of partnership doesn't just happen. It's built on years of friendship, sure, but also on mutual respect, on both of them doing the internal work to become better collaborators, better communicators. They've learned how to check their egos at the door, how to prioritize the art over being right, how to celebrate each other's wins genuinely. RM actually mentioned this in a Rolling Stone interview. He said watching Jimin and Jungkook work together has pushed him to develop deeper collaborative relationships with the other members. He called it a masterclass in creative partnership. And coming from RM, who's literally the leader and has been orchestrating BTS's creative direction for years, that's saying something. Let's get into some of the technical aspects, because this is where things get really fascinating for people who are into the production side of music. Both Jimin and Jungkook spent their time away from group activities, seriously leveling up their skills. Jimin dove deep into songwriting and production. We're talking working with various producers, learning the technical side of music creation, understanding mixing, arrangement, all the behind-the-scenes stuff that most performers never bother learning. Jungkook did the same thing, expanding his production knowledge, learning new instruments, really understanding how music is built from the ground up. So now when they're in the studio together, they're not just singers waiting to be told what to do. They're active participants in shaping the entire sonic landscape of their music. Producers on the Erarang album have said that Jimin and Jungkook will often stay hours after official sessions end, just fine-tuning arrangements, experimenting with different harmonies, pushing each other to try unconventional approaches. They'll spend 3 hours on a single vocal run, trying different techniques, different emotional approaches, until they find exactly the right feeling. And here's what's crazy. They're not competing with each other. If Jungkook tries something and it sounds amazing, Jimin is the first one celebrating and figuring out how to build on that idea. If Jimin has a vision for how a section should sound, Jungkook immediately gets it and starts contributing ideas that elevate the original concept. It's this constant back and forth that keeps raising the bar. One producer described it as watching two master chefs in a kitchen, both with incredible individual skills, but when they cook together, they're creating dishes that neither could make alone. Every ingredient one adds inspires the other to think of complementary flavors. Every technique one uses sparks ideas in the other's mind. The final result is something that transcends either of their individual capabilities. Now, this intensified partnership between Jimin and Jungkook isn't happening in isolation. It's having a ripple effect through the entire group. The other members have talked about how it's raising everyone's game. When you see two people working at that level, pushing each other, creating magic, it makes you want to bring your absolute best too. V mentioned in an interview how Jimin helped bridge creative differences between him and Jungkook on a track they were all featured on. Jimin basically acted as this creative translator, understanding both of their artistic visions and helping them find common ground that honored both perspectives. That's next-level collaboration right there. Jin joked in a behind-the-scenes video that he feels like he's watching a masterclass every time he's in the studio with them. But you can tell there's genuine admiration behind that joke. Even J-Hope, who's known for his incredible work ethic and leadership in dance, has commented on how the synergy between Jimin and Jungkook is inspiring him to approach collaborations differently. What's beautiful about this is that it's not creating division or jealousy. It's elevating the entire group. BTS has always been about the collective, about 7 individuals coming together to create something greater than the sum of their parts. And what Jimin and Jungkook are demonstrating is how individual growth can actually strengthen the collective when it's approached with the right mindset. Let me share some specific behind-the-scenes moments that really illustrate what's happening. There's this one instance where they were working on a particularly complex bridge section. The melody was challenging, the harmonies were intricate, and they'd been at it for hours. Most artists would take a break, come back fresh the next day. But Jimin and Jungkook, they stayed until 4 in the morning because they knew they were on the verge of something special. According to the sound engineer who was there, they recorded that section probably 30 times. But it wasn't frustrating or tense. They were laughing between takes, encouraging each other, making small adjustments based on each other's suggestions. When they finally nailed it, the engineer said the entire studio erupted in celebration. Not just Jimin and Jungkook, but everyone who'd been watching this creative process unfold. There's another story about a music video concept meeting where Jungkook presented an idea that was pretty out there, kind of risky from a commercial standpoint. Instead of shutting it down, Jimin immediately started building on it, adding elements that made it even more ambitious but also more cohesive. By the end of that meeting, what started as Jungkook's wild idea had become a collaborative vision that the entire creative team was excited about. And here's something that really shows their growth. When they disagree now, which of course still happens because they're two different artists with different perspectives, they've developed this really mature way of working through it. They'll each present their case, listen to each other genuinely, and then usually find a third option that incorporates the best of both ideas. Sometimes they'll even bring in other members to weigh in, valuing outside perspectives rather than just trying to win the argument. Let's zoom out for a second and talk about what this all means in the bigger picture. Both Jimin and Jungkook have spoken in various interviews about feeling a deeper sense of responsibility now. Not just to ARMY, although of course they care deeply about the fans, but to their artistry itself, to the legacy they're building, to each other. Jimin said in his Vogue Korea interview that coming back to BTS after experiencing solo success made him realize how special and rare their group chemistry is. He talked about how easy it would be to play it safe, to do a comeback that's commercially viable without taking real creative risks. But he said that wouldn't honor what ARMY has given them, or what they owe to the younger versions of themselves who dreamed of changing music. Jungkook echoed similar thoughts in Yeonli, Korea. He said his time as a solo artist taught him that while individual success feels great, the magic of creation amplifies when you're building something with people who truly understand you. He specifically mentioned Jimin as someone who pushes him to be better not through competition, but through inspiration. Think about what that means. These are two artists at the peak of their individual careers. They could absolutely continue on solo paths and find massive success. But they're choosing to invest this incredible energy into their partnership, into the group, because they recognize that what they can create together is more meaningful than what they could achieve apart. And that's not just about music. That's a philosophy of life. That's understanding that true greatness isn't about standing alone at the top. It's about lifting others up as you climb and creating things together that change the world. So what does all of this mean for the actual comeback? Based on everything we're hearing from the studios, we're about to witness something unprecedented. This isn't just going to be 7 talented guys coming together to make another album. This is going to be a group where each member has individually reached new heights and is now combining those elevated skills with renewed appreciation for collective creation. The concept photos we've seen so far, especially the ones featuring Jimin and Jungkook together, have this cohesiveness that goes beyond just good styling. There's a genuine connection captured in those images. You can see it in their eyes, in their body language. These aren't just 2 members posing together. These are 2 artists who are genuinely in sync. The choreography snippets that have leaked are already being analyzed by professional dancers who are calling it some of the most sophisticated partner work they've seen in K-pop. The synchronization is perfect, but what's more impressive is how they maintain individual expressiveness within that perfect synchronization. That's incredibly difficult to achieve. And if the reports about the music are accurate, we're in for some serious emotional moments. Tracks that are going to make you cry, songs that are going to make you think, production that's going to push boundaries, all anchored by this partnership between Jimin and Jungkook that has evolved into something truly special. Look, I know I've been talking for a while now, but I hope you understand why this is such a big deal. What's happening between Jimin and Jungkook in those studios isn't just about them getting along better or working harder. It's about 2 world-class artists who have figured out how to be simultaneously independent and interdependent, how to maintain their individual identities while creating something that transcends either of their solo capabilities. The something different that everyone's sensing isn't just stronger chemistry, it's evolved chemistry. It's what happens when 2 people who have climbed individual mountains decide to tackle a new peak together, bringing all the wisdom and skills they've gained along the way. It's the difference between cooperation and true collaboration, between working together and creating magic together. The Erarang album drops March 20th, and based on everything we know, it's going to redefine what BTS can be. And at the heart of it all is this partnership, this creative synergy between Jimin and Jungkook that's inspiring everyone around them and honestly inspiring me just learning about it. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Let me know in the comments what you think about all of this. Are you as excited as I am? What are you most looking forward to with the comeback? Do you think this evolved partnership will influence how other K-pop groups approach collaboration? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your fellow ARMY, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates, because I've got exclusive behind-the-scenes content coming your way soon. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay purple!